One of the most beautiful ideas from both science and philosophy is the idea of emergence. Emergence is what happens when you have two or more lower order entities and they combine together to make a higher order thing or entity that is much, much different than the lower order entity. For example, if you have two hydrogen atoms, you can study hydrogen until you're blue in the face. But when you combine two hydrogens to make helium, there's no way you could predict the qualities and the nature of helium by only studying hydrogen. So helium is an emergent system that comes from hydrogen. And this seems to be what the universe has been doing since the dawn of time. Soon after the Big Bang happened, there was only helium. Helium spread out across the universe, but then gravity started to pull the hydrogen together. And in the middle of these massive stars, because of the massive gravity, helium or hydrogen was crammed together and formed helium and all the higher order elements. And then these stars exploded and sent these higher order elements out into the universe, and the process continued. Gravity would pull them together into stars. They would cram together in the center of the stars due to the massive gravity, and then explode when the star's fuel ran out. And this is what eventually started with hydrogen, higher order elements, and then you combine higher order elements into molecules. And then molecules were combined together to create complex molecules. And then complex molecules combined together to make organic molecules. And then these organic molecules combine together to make life forms. And then these simple life forms combine together to make complex life forms. And eventually intelligent life forms. Intelligent life forms that can use language. Intelligent life forms that can have a memory and project their memory into the future. And then these intelligent beings got together as hunter-gatherers, and we eventually invented agriculture, a higher order system, an emergent system. Civilization is the ultimate emergent system in the universe. According to most scientists, the most complex thing in the universe after 13 billion years of expansion is human civilizations made up of intelligent, sentient, self-aware beings. And you'll see this process everywhere, this continuous emergence into higher order and higher complex things, which is what's happening on the one hand. You have this drive towards emergence, which nobody really understands why this happens. Maybe there's some kind of life force. Maybe there's some kind of emergence force that creates this higher and harder, more organized structures. But on the other half, there's entropy, which makes things kind of fall apart. So you have these two kind of battles of nature, these two forces of nature that are always operating. On the one hand, you have higher and higher orders of emergence, of complexity. The most complex, of course, is human societies. And if you start to view the world through the lens and the model of emergence, it kind of makes everything make sense. There's this growing body of ideas among historians that history is really not a bunch of guys coming up with some great ideas, and then everybody listens to these great ideas, and everybody said, yes, let's do that great idea. History is really just a kind of evolution of emergent systems that kind of run on their own, a kind of unconscious system, an organic system, an emergent system that runs on its own. And whoever happens to be in charge when good things happen, that person takes credit, and people believe that they caused this good thing, when in reality, they just happened to be there when this good thing happened. They are correlated, but one did not cause the other. And when bad things happen, it's the same thing. When bad things happen, the person in charge blames somebody else, blames the other team, blames the other country, and people believe that. And this is partly due, or maybe due, because we have this ego. And our conscious mind, unconscious mind, the relationship is not what a lot of people think. There's a huge body of scientific evidence that suggests our conscious mind is really just a storyteller. Our body, our mind-body system responds to the world around us unconsciously, automatically, and we just decide to do things. And when good things happen, our conscious minds take credit for the good things. We remember the event as if we planned the event, as if we had agency in the event. When in reality, we were just a conscious mind watching our mind-body system move through the world, and some good things happen. So our conscious mind comes up with a story that puts our ego, our consciousness, as the hero, the agency hero of the story. When in reality, we're just kind of a press agent of our unconscious decision-making process. Similarly, when bad things happen, our conscious mind blames somebody else. And this is a very, very elegant model if you want to persuade people. One of the problems of large societies is something called the law of unintended consequences. You have this continuously evolving system that goes in and out of these different equilibrium states. But you have the government, the people in charge, they try to change the system. But every time they try to impose order onto the system, which is really kind of rambling on its own, it causes outcomes that they can't anticipate, unintended consequences. And these unintended consequences are usually worse than the problem they're trying to solve. There's a cajillion examples of unintended consequences through history, which kind of validates the idea that the people who think they're in charge are not really in charge. And every time they try to impose their will on the system, it messes up the equilibrium of the system. This is kind of like if you're playing the piano and you just learned a piece of music by heart. You're almost to the point of unconscious competence, and you can almost just relax and play it. But as soon as you involve your conscious mind and try to look at your fingers and the music, you mess yourself up. This validates or kind of supports the idea that our mind-body system is doing all this decision-making, and our conscious mind is just watching. Not choosing, but watching and telling stories about why we do certain things. And if you think of this in terms of persuasion, this explains perfectly why old school hard sell outside in persuasion is such a low probability game. Because you're taking your conscious mind, which is not the decider of even your own mind-body system, and you're trying to talk to another person and take your ideas through your conscious mind, their conscious mind, and to try to change the decision-making process of their mind-body system, which is a very, very low probability event. But if you look at persuasion through the model of emergence and look at other people and appreciate other people as emergent systems, as all their decisions as emergent systems from lower level emotional states, this makes persuasion a lot easier, a lot more effective. Because instead of going from the top down, from the outside in, you ask questions that build up these emergent states inside their mind-body system. You ask questions that elicit deeper level emotions. And you let these deeper level emotions combine together in higher order emergent thought patterns, higher order emotional states. And these higher order emotional states, if you construct them correctly on the lower level, they will lead to fantastic decisions. They will lead to easy persuasion and easy seduction. So how do you do this? How do you ask questions to elicit these lower order states so that they will combine together in a higher order mental state that will lead to them doing whatever you want them to do? Well, first, just start asking questions to elicit these lower order states, the ideal lower order states. It's kind of like making a cake. If you just think about the ingredients of a cake and you combine them together, they will create the emergent system that is a cake. The flour is not the cake. The eggs are not the cake. The sugar is not the cake. But when you combine them together in the right way, it will make a cake. A cake is an emergent system of the lower order ingredients. Similarly, when you ask questions that elicit these lower order emotions, the right lower order emotions, they will combine together in the emergent mental state that will make it easy for them to make whatever decision you'd like them to make. So what kind of questions do you ask? What are these lower order ingredients that will lead to the emergent state that will let you easily seduce and persuade people? Ask about their desires. Ask about the things they want. Ask about their greatest experiences. Ask about the best decisions they'd ever made. Ask about decisions they made that turned out fantastically and got them a lot of validation from other people. Ask them about any kind of leadership situations they've been in where they've made decisions and everybody respected them for their decisions. This will create an emergent state, an emergent emotional state of fantastic decision-making confidence, a good feeling of desire, a good feeling of past successes. And all you need to do when you close them is just toss in a suggestion. Because when you ask the right questions, when you ask the questions to elicit these lower order emotional states that will create this emergent system of decision making, they will be surrounded by this halo effect that feels so good. They will feel strong desire for whatever they see, and they will be remembering, and they will have the mental resonance energy of making a good decision. And so you just toss a suggestion in there, and they will take that suggestion and act on this suggestion. And this is the easiest way to persuade somebody. This is the easiest way to seduce somebody. It doesn't require any charisma. It doesn't require any confidence. It doesn't require that you tell them anything. All it requires is you temporarily turn off your ego, which leads you to believe, which makes everybody believe that we're in charge of everything that happens. Think of your ego like an instinct that you can manage, just like your hunger instinct. Just like you can turn off your hunger instinct for more longer-term results, you can turn off your short-term ego instinct to get longer-term results. So turn off your ego. Turn off your need to tell them what to do and just ask questions. Ask questions about these lower-order emotional states. Create the emergent system of decision-making, of positive desire. I'm going to get something fantastic decision-making, energy resonance in their brain, and toss in a suggestion, and they will do whatever you want them to do. This is the easiest way to persuade somebody. This is the easiest way to seduce somebody. If you'd like to learn how to do this, check out the links below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you next time.